Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Who Are You podcast. I'm your host, Connor Overbay, coming out to you guys every single week from Jacksonville, Florida. As we're getting started, please give us a follow on all of our social media, including the YouTube. We are finally about to have our 5th episode on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys for always the constant support. Always happy to have new listeners, people checking us out, leaving comments, all that good stuff. So all I want to say is thank you on that side. But as I said, if you guys want to see some maybe behind the scenes stuff or just anything else going on that's in the Who Are You universe, feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media. It's going to be Who Are You Pod on everything from Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube, all the normal spots, as well as you guys, if you know anybody who has a story that needs to be told, maybe a restaurateur, entrepreneur, artist, musician, anybody really, we're always taking recommendations from people, so you guys can either hit us up on the social media or you can email me. It's going to be whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. But today, we are sitting down with a very, very special guest. She was actually behind the scenes from one of our past podcasts with Jennifer Janeo and everything.
Yeah, my girl. Shout out to you, Jen.
Yeah. But me and you kind of had a conversation. We were talking after the podcast was over, and I got to hear a little bit about your life, and I found you very interesting. But today, I'm sitting down with Miss Thai Monro. So welcome to the podcast.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course. And you're a lady of very many talents from what I've seen. So, like, one thing that I know, you do your modeling, and I saw that you're a musician as well online.
I am.
I wasn't aware of that second part, so that's awesome. But we'll get into a little bit more of that as we get into the podcast and everything. Yeah, so the beginning, I want to get to know a little bit more of your backstory. Obviously, you're not from Jacksonville. I do know that. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Southern California, Glendale, Los Angeles, and then I moved to Palm Springs, so I'm a SoCal chick.
Shout out. And before we get too far into the podcast, I forgot I usually ask this before my first question. Where can people follow your social media? Because obviously you're very active on there. I want to make sure people can find you, check you out, see what you got going on.
Love that. Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on TikTok. My Instagram's Thai Monro, which is THAI, like Thailand, _MONRO. And you can find that as well on TikTok, Instagram, pretty much every platform. And then also on YouTube, you can find my music, Pandora, Spotify. It's the same Thai Monro, so definitely check your girl out.
Hey, like I said, you're very busy. We were talking a little bit before the podcast and everything. So you said you're from SoCal. How long did you live in California?
Nice. Yeah, I love Southern California. I was born and raised there, so I was there for little bit over 22 years.
Okay.
And then I just decided, hey, let's go move to Florida. So
go from one crazy area to another crazy
area. But listen, I loved, that aspect of taking a big leap and trying something different. And it was definitely fun because I came from such a crazy town, or like so many things going on in Southern California. So coming to Jacksonville was cool, major different, but a necessity, apparently.
Hey, I say, especially where we're at now. Like I've said it on 20 different podcasts now. It's Jacksonville's growing, and it's the new it city. It definitely is. So while you were in California, what were you like as a kid? What was like, were you into like obviously the modeling? Were you more into sports when you were younger? What was kind of your interest as you were growing up and becoming a nice young woman?
That is so awesome to think about because it's crazy. Florida brought out the modeling in me. My younger years, I was just like a little church choir girl, a quiet girl, which is crazy. If you ask anyone from Florida that knows me, they're probably not going to say I'm very quiet. If you ask anyone from California, they'd say I was a little bit more quiet and timid and maybe a little bit awkward, fitting into myself. And yeah, so I was just a quiet girl in a big family, kind of figuring herself out. There was a lot of mixed crowds, so I was constantly kind of camouflaging and just like mingling with different people, which ultimately became like great for like who I am. I'm just like a very mixed person. Like I'm constantly talking to every kind of people, every walks of life. So yeah, I think I was just learning, exploring, and really definitely having fun in the sun. I mean, California is nice and hot. We had all the beaches, all the pools, nice jacuzzis. Summertime was fun. life was fun.
Yeah.
So, but a little bit more quiet than I am here in Florida.
Hey, I understand. You know, like I've always been a talkative person, but I was also the same way. Like just, you know, you couldn't pay me to go back to my high school years. The teenage angst, and like I remember like if my hair was looking wrong or if my shirt was wrinkled, it would like ruin my day.
100% me, 100%.
These are, you know, kids are ruthless now. Like even back then, they were ruthless back in the day. They would kind of roast you if you looked a little bit off or just a little bit
Anything
weird.
Different,
yeah, it was just a whole thing. But luckily enough, I was friends, like, you know how there's different groups, as you were saying, in high school and everything. I was pretty lucky where I was friends, you know, with people who were more into anime or people who were into, I played sports, so, you know, jocks, all them. And then, you know, kind of just blend in with everybody because, you know, I don't care what you're into. I find it interesting if you're into something that's different than what I'm interested in.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. And like I said, I was raised like a little church girl, so we were pretty strict. I wasn't able to do all the sports I wanted to, so I tried to do all the sports throughout high school, but when it would boil down to it, they would want Fridays and Saturdays of my time. And for our religion, it was very strict. I was in the church during those times, and if I wasn't, I was not necessarily allowed to go do some sports or different things that I wanted to try. So I did as much as I could, but because of that, like it got me to dabble in soccer, dabble in basketball, dabble in volleyball, dabble in dance, dabble in music, dabble in, you know, so I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of how I've been, just like in everything.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So talk to me about the whole church life. So I kind of grew up in a similar situation. I'm not personally religious now, but I don't find anything wrong with it. It's just, it was kind of, you know, like the parents were a little hard on it, trying to push it down your throat, at least for me personally. What denomination were you brought up in?
So we were Seventh-day Adventist, and my family still practices it. Which is also very close to, I would say, Christianism.
Okay, that was about to be asked my next question.
Yeah, and then we just have, ultimately, I really like, what I gathered from all those years is that we just have a different timeline. Mm-hmm. So we celebrated Sabbath, which is something that I know other religions do, but we celebrated it on Saturday.
Okay.
So everyone else's Sunday was our Saturday.
Gotcha.
And it started sundown of Friday night until sundown of Saturday night, which is literally like... What?
Yeah.
But respectfully, like that's how I just grew up. So I would spend time going and reading or going in nature, which I have come to appreciate a lot. And I've transferred that over into like how I feel like I should believe in certain things, but like I'm not crazy religious about like, or I need to be in church 5 days a week in order to have my relationship with, my higher power. So
no, I totally understand that. And like whenever I was younger, I was very much like trying to push it away kind of thing. And as I was telling you, like I'm not very religious now, but the way I look at it is like I hope there's something there after I'm gone.
Preach.
You know, I mean that's my main thing.
Right.
And like I respect people who are that devout and have that belief because there's nothing wrong with it. Because at the end of the day, I can't tell you you're wrong. I don't know what happens when we're not here.
Exactly.
But to get back to the Sabbath and everything, so I know in the Jewish religion, like they have certain things like they're not allowed to turn on lights during the Sabbath on certain days and everything. Is it similar in that religious sect, or is it more just you're more just praising God that day and kind of thinking more about that kind of stuff?
I know that they're in the Seventh-day Adventist community, there is definitely close to that strict kind of rules for different people. I know that on my side, my mom was pretty strict about like anything. Can't go to the store, can't listen to what would be considered vulgar music, can't be watching what would be considered vulgar TV, and that's like literally anything.
All of it. No MTV, nothing like that.
Can't watch MTV. And better not be trying to watch cartoons. So yeah, it became pretty strict, but different walks of life. As you get older, you just pick how you want to work with that. So I can't find any shame in my family or like fault in them doing that. You do what you think is best for your kids. And
of course,
both my parents came from like different parts of the world. So and then the Seventh-day Adventist community is so big that like if you come from different parts of the world and you somehow unite and then you're both this Seventh-day Adventist community, they're like, oh, you better follow these rules times 30 than versus like a regular, maybe newfound Seventh-day Adventist. So it's interesting.
Gotcha. Are you still close with your family? Are they in California right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. My family's spread out. I think I have still on my mom's side a lot of family. My dad's side is still in New York. Both my parents actually moved from their original places, which was Antigua and Costa Rica, to New York. And that's like what in their cultures you do. You become an adult and you go to the big cities, which I guess was always New York.
That's badass.
Or like LA, right? Yeah, kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Especially to go from, like you said, Antigua and what was the other place? I'm sorry, Costa Rica. You're moving to America.
Yeah,
like
they're moving to America.
I always think it's so crazy how people are like, yeah, I'm out, and like just leaving a country and going into a whole nother country.
That's what they do.
I respect the hell out of that because
because I can't.
No, knowing myself, I can barely speak English correctly.
Right.
I can't imagine going somewhere else and like trying to learn their language. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hats off to them, like 100%. But so they like bounced around a lot. But so my dad's family uprooted in New York, and so did my mom's, which is crazy. But then they were like, we want to try California. Then they uprooted there. And that's where we went in bits and pieces. And then when I moved here, which was kind of like a turbulent time, we were going through a divorce, and my family just went everywhere. My sister's in DC. My brother's in another part of California he's never been in. I'm in Florida, so, but yeah, my mom's side is still there. So that's nice. I get to go back and visit. I have a ton of friends. So yeah, they're kind of all over, but then my father's side is on New York. So it's like, I've always been in between New York, California, or just like the East and West Coast somehow.
That's cool. That's really interesting. Like I said, I was born and raised here, so I've lived here my whole life. But I did have a story to tell you. So you were talking about, people coming from other countries and everything. Yeah. I actually had a really, really cool experience yesterday. I was telling Shannon about it. What I do for what I do for a job is pest control. So I go into people's houses, take care of, commercial, residential, all that stuff.
Yes.
And yesterday, I went into a home and I met the people, and they're from Jordan. And,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I've never met someone from Jordan, and they were very traditional. So, the wife does certain things, the husband and the son and everything.
Yes.
So me going in there, trying to respect, don't like talk too much to the woman or the man, just trying to show respect because I don't know what the rules are.
What their culture is.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just try to go in there and be respectful, talk whenever I felt like it was needed and everything. And to be honest, they were super cool people. I went into their home. I found an AirPod on the way up to their house. I was like, hey, is this one of y'all's? And they're like, oh, thank you so much. And
they're so sweet.
Yeah, they were super cool. And I sprayed their house, did all that. We were having conversation throughout the time I was there, about 20 minutes. And they stopped me as I was about to leave. They're like, hey, please come sit down and have a cup of tea with us. I was like, oh,
that's awesome.
I've never been offered that doing what I do for a job. So at first I was a little apprehensive because, it was just weird. I don't know these people. And I sat down, had a cup of tea with them, and had a conversation and got to learn their story about, like, I met the father, and he was the one who was originally from Jordan and then brought the family to the United States.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
he went to school in the UK, California, Berkeley, Indiana, all over the different places. And I was sitting there talking to him, and they were asking me what my opinions are of, like, other countries. And they were asking, I was asking what there was of the United States before they moved here.
Absolutely. Tell me that.
Yeah, because it's great to hear a different perspective because we see our stuff here and you don't and you don't know what they're seeing about us as well. So like I asked them, I was like, what was your opinion? And they were very nice, and they were like, we know that we're seeing propaganda a little bit just like you guys are, and from the conversation I gathered, we're so much more the same kind of people. We find a lot more that we're in common with than what separates us.
Absolutely.
And I told Shannon about it, to invite me down, sit on their couch, have a conversation with me for 20 minutes and everything. It made me feel personally warm inside. Yeah. I was like, this is like what the human...
I was just saying, I just said that's so human.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
It made my day. I literally texted her about it and everything, and I was like, that was a really cool situation if I would have been closed-minded and just walked out,
I would missed out on that.
Exactly. And that's why I was like super happy about it. It was cool. I get to meet new people, and like that's what gives me excitement throughout the day or doing these kind of conversations. Yeah. You never know what can turn out from that conversation and what you can take from that as well. Yeah. So it was super cool.
That is awesome. My goodness. I'm the same way. Like I'm like, okay, and I have question number and show me on the map, and how's that? Like, yeah, that's really cool.
It's a cool world out there.
It really is.
So what ended up making you choose Florida of all places? Like you said, you moved literally from across the United States. That's a big move.
Right. I know, right? To this day, I still ask this question to myself. No, it was actually my father moved on this side of the world, and I think I had one other relative like close to Tampa or something, and I was just like, hey, let's just try something different. At that time, I had actually been in California for like 4 years by myself. Everyone had just like dispersed, and spent my whole life there. I was like, I love it. I still love it. I'll go back any day you tell me, but let's just try something different. I was 22 years old. Like, why not? So I was like, all right, boom, Jacksonville. That seems to be the spot.
I always find it wild when people say that. They're like, Jacksonville's the spot, I guess.
I wanted something like a little bit out of the regular city of like maybe Orlando, maybe something up my outskirts of Daytona, maybe something away from Miami. And then like, look how that's exactly what I just said. That ended up being like, yeah. So it worked. I mean, it worked out. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. That's really cool. And you're a mom as well, right?
I am. I have 2 boys.
You have 2 boys. That's awesome. That really is
my
cool.
babies, my little jits.
My jits. It's funny when I've said that to people who are from up north. Like, what does that mean?
They don't know that.
Oh, like
Listen,
it's a Florida
my
thing.
Goodness, I have explained this because I have on my on my social medias, I have, my friends from California, I have my friends from Florida. I've been to Texas a few times. I've been a lot of states actually, but I have a more heavier following from California and Florida. So it's just funny when I would say certain things. My friends are from California, like, what is that? Okay, and then my friends are from Florida, like, why are you talking like that? Because when I first came here, it was hello, hey. Hi.
The high pitched
like,
voice.
Sorry, I'm a valley girl, and like it's still never left. Okay,
Yeah.
But there's definitely like a little bit of Florida lingo out here, and jits is a great one.
That was a thing I've
It's
always.
a great one.
I would always say what's up to my friends, like, what's up, jits?
What's up, jits?
Yeah, as I walked up.
I want someone to spell it for me. Like,
Yeah, right.
From everywhere, I want every other state to just spell jits. See what we get.
But to talk about is it okay if we talk about your children?
Of course, absolutely.
So, how old were you whenever you first found out you were going to be a mom?
What was I, 24?
Oh, was that scary for you when you first heard that?
Terrifying. Oh my goodness. But when I was younger and in California, I actually worked with kids for like 13 years. Like,
really?
I loved working with kids. I did Vacation Bible School, growing up in the church community. I did nursery care, Vacation Bible School, Pathfinders Adventures, all that stuff where somehow I was being like a leader or I was learning something, which is kind of like Girl Scouts, but like for your religion.
Yeah.
So I just took a liking to kids. Kids took a liking to me. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to have 2 boys. So when it was happening with one, I was like, oh, okay. We were right.
Yeah.
So it was a little scary, but like exciting. And I think absolutely what I needed in that time in my life and, growing as a woman, when it happens, you're just never prepared. You're never gonna be prepared. So when it happens, it's amazing to see what like can transform or become of you, and you just find it in yourself as becoming like a parent. So
what would freak me out is there's a human being in my belly.
Super freaky.
That's definitely a weird
Super
one.
Freaky. Yeah, that is a process I will not repeat after this second one. Power to every woman and my mother, and shout out to every woman on the earth that has popped these babies out before medicine, because even with medicine, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this again. Terrified.
You're making Shannon scared over there.
It's wonderful. No, it's wonderful.
No, that's the thing.
It's also 6 years ago now for me. So like they've even more advanced, and I had a wonderful second birth compared to the first one. So they are gonna have you in and out like a drive-through at McDonald's. Like, you're good.
Did you do the epidural?
God, yeah.
Hey, no hate. I was like, no hate on this side.
I literally was like, I'm cool. We got it. We're a Cali chick. We're mellow. Let's try nothing, Absolutely not. When I felt like my first few contractions, because I didn't feel that with my first child, they had to emergency C-section him out.
Ooh.
So I didn't really feel much of that, and I felt like I was robbed of the motherhood. So the second time I was like, oh, we're going to do this. And no. I felt contractions for 5 minutes and like grabbed the first nurse so I couldn't. I'm like, you get me. That epidural, or someone might get murdered today.
Hey, I understand. So, you brought up the fact that your firstborn was an emergency C-section. Was there complications? Was there something going on? Obviously, emergency, that means something was wrong.
Yeah. So I was supposed to be getting fluids the first night that I went in, like to make me dilate, and fluids for him to just like slowly start making contractions and everything.
Course.
So I was on those for like 10 hours because I was on like high risk and watch. Excuse me. So I think it was like 6 or 10 hours, and finally, like, I was sleeping too. The nurse came in the next day. It's like, nothing's happening, but my fluids were all like just running on the floor. So then they were like, let's check the baby. His heart rate seems to be going up, and he was twisted in his umbilical cord upside down. So they're like, let's go. And I was like, oh my gosh, let's go, which is crazy because in that moment they're like, hey, it's kind of real now, so like shit's changed. We gotta like do this now, and you have a second to think about. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get sliced open.
Oh yeah,
but you just okay. Sounds good.
Of course, you're thinking about your child. You're like, you know, I want to make sure they're good to go and everything. And
absolutely,
like I said, more power to women any day of the week. I'm happy every single day being a dude. Like,
you guys are lucky.
I'm not gonna lie. Like what you guys go through on a monthly basis, as well as giving birth, I can't imagine.
It's horrible.
Like I said, can you imagine like guys get sick for like 5 minutes? We feel like we're like,
you guys are hilarious when you're sick. You would think like they're like, come closer, help. Like I love men when they're sick. I'm like, let me just watch this for about 20 minutes because this is hilarious.
You can ask Shannon. I'm not really one to like bring her in. I'm pretty much like just like I go off and do my own thing. If I'm
you want to be left alone, don't you?
No, it's not. I'm not even like pushing her away. I'm more just not trying to bother her. So I'm very much like if I'm getting sick, I won't say nothing. I'll just be in the like bathroom, like hugging the toilet and doing all that stuff.
That's
but
men,
yeah,
sure.
But like a story that I had with me and Shannon when we first started dating. This was like our first Valentine's Day together.
So cute.
Yeah, it wasn't cute until I was so I was working a restaurant job at the time, started feeling sick. I was like sitting in the back, couldn't get up for a little while because I was just down. And I came home, gave her like her flowers or chocolates, you know, being cute. It was our first Valentine's Day together. And I had this mysterious illness that no one could figure out. Shannon, like this is when I knew Shannon was the real one right there.
Right.
I was sick for 3 weeks straight. I would sleep for 12 hours a day, almost like 6 to 8 hours at a time. I would wake up for a couple minutes to say hi or try to talk to her. I had sores from the tip, like on the bottom of my tongue, from the tip of my tongue to the base of my tongue. So I couldn't eat. And I was like collapsing in the shower. You know, like I was just having so many issues.
That's horrible.
I lost probably like 20 something pounds. And like at that time I was like 170 pounds to start off with. So I was already bones and just like I lost all that weight. She took me to the doctor a couple times. They didn't really know what to do with me. One of the hospitals wouldn't even treat me. I walked out of there like cursing up a storm because they wouldn't come see me.
Because what's going on? Tell me. This is literally your job. What's wrong with me?
So that whole situation happened. This is like I said, first couple of weeks of us dating, and
the ring came out instantly. It just fell out of your hand. Oh my God, she's perfect.
That's why I was like, I know she's the one. But yeah, that whole situation happened, and I was like, yeah, like if there's the closest thing to death I've ever felt, that was it. I was like on death's door, and like nobody could tell me what was wrong. It was the weirdest thing.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry, but I'm so glad you had a goat with you.
Oh, you're good. Say she was clutch.
She's definitely clutch. That's tough to go through.
Yeah, that was 7 years ago. Yeah, that was a lot. That was my first apartment. I was 18 years old at that time. But yeah, that whole situation is just medical stuff's scary. It really is
terrifying, and it's definitely even worse when you go through it alone. So.
Oh yeah. How old are your boys, by the way, now?
9 and 6.
Oh, what? You almost have a 10-year-old.
I know.
What?
I'm like, oh my God, grow up and pay bills.
Are they friendly together? Are they fighting all the time?
24/7 fighting, but they love each other. Like they fight all day long, and then I come in the room and they're like watching a movie curled up together.
I feel like that's boys.
I can't stand y'all, but you're so cute. Hallmark card cute. You know, it looks really cute, and like you open it and there's like a bunch of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. And are they both with your current husband?
Yeah, no, one's with I have a, what is that, baby daddy is what you say here in Florida?
I'm not hating on it either way.
Oh, me neither. You know, like I said, life experiences and things teach you different things, and like no shade, no harm, no foul. I got my babies, but one's with my husband, the other one is not with my baby daddy. But both of them are like, my husband is their dad, so we have a nice revolving way of where it all just like works out. So, you know, that it's great. And that's good. Crazy because I would have never saw that, you know, but hey, it works out.
Hey, life has an interesting way. Like I'm lucky my parents divorced when I was young as well. So I have my father, and then my stepfather stepped in when I was 5 years old.
Love that.
You know, and like I respect it a lot more now as I've gotten older because, you know, back then I was like, you're not my dad, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff,
right.
You know, rebelling.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Yeah.
Of course. And then got older, and now we're like best of friends. We go golfing, hang out, all that. We all live within a mile of each other, you know. So
I love that.
Yeah.
It takes a team, and like you need a team to like grow with.
Yeah.
So I don't think, you know, there's anything wrong with that.
How did you meet your husband, by the way?
Actually out here when I first moved here. When I first moved here, like I always had more than 2 jobs in California. So I was like, cool, we're going to have 2-3 jobs out here. So I met him at one of my jobs. And then we just clicked really fast, got married, got divorced, and then years later got remarried. And here we are. Check us out.
Can I ask about that situation? How does getting married, divorced, and remarried happen? How's that?
Right? I would love to know, to be honest, still to this day. No, I'm just kidding. We were, well, you know, I was 22. He was 22. We were, hey, oh my God, I love you. I love you. And then he was in the service. So it was like, hey, you got to come with me or not. So it was like, let's go. So, and then just life happened. You know, we divorced, but if I didn't divorce, then I wouldn't have my child. And if we didn't divorce, we wouldn't be remarried. And if we didn't get married at all and remarried or however our lives spanned out, I probably wouldn't be doing like a lot of the things that I do because, like I said, it takes a team. I have great support from him. He's very helpful. And that's one of the things I really loved is I've been, across the bloody world. And I really never had anyone that like wanted me to pursue my goals and was constantly like pushing me for it. And that's something that you want in like your spouse. So
of course.
It's been great.
That's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. It's, life happens in weird ways.
Weird mother ways.
Oh, yeah. I say for me, like I was in a relationship all throughout high school. The person you think, oh, we're high school sweethearts, blah blah blah. Yeah, fuck her. But yeah. So
shout out to the girl. Thanks, I appreciate that. Learned what we don't need.
Piece of dirt, anyways. But had that whole thing, and then got out of high school. I obviously moved out when I turned 18 years old. Got my own place. I told my parents 2 weeks before. I'm like, I'm out. And then, and Shannon actually helped me move from my mom's house.
Oh, shut up! She been the go.
Oh yeah, we were really good friends originally. I ended up taking over. People have heard this story 1,000 times. I took over.
Never gets old though.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I was a manager at Five Guys. Shorter version. I ended up taking over her store. We were really good friends, and hung out almost every single day. And then we kind of just started talking a little bit. And she used to call me her boo thing. And because
I love her.
Because I never officially asked her. I was like, hey, I'm like, we hang out.
You my boo thing. Yeah. She was right. She had that Florida lingo on point.
Well, she like slept over, hung out all the time and stuff. And I guess I just never officially asked her to be my girlfriend. We were basically living together. And I was like, why do you keep calling me your boo thing? It was kind of bugging me. I'm like, we do all this stuff together. We hang out every single day. What is this? And she's like, you never asked me. I was like, is that what it is? So hold that whole thing. But, 7 years later, everything's all good.
Everything's all good.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look how things fall into place. That is so cute. And you had her voice down pretty well. Never said it though.
No, but life's a funny thing, I feel like you get what you need when you need it, kind of thing.
When you need it, when you're supposed to have it, and it's just forever changing.
Yeah.
Just like accept life the way you can, I guess.
I totally agree.
Something gonna happen.
But speaking of your life, so you said you worked multiple jobs and everything. What were some of your like first jobs that you worked in?
Oh my goodness. Okay. My first job actually was under the table. It was working at a nursery. I ran a nursery. Loved it.
At the church?
Little babies. Yeah, at one of the churches that I worked at. And then my first on paper job was Panda Express.
Hey, Panda Express.
And oh my God, I thought I hated that job. Then I grew up, but like at the time, Panda was the shit.
It was the shit for a minute. No, you're not wrong.
It was great, and yeah, that was my first real job. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Then after that, I went to California Pizza Kitchen because I just like to
I know what you're talking
constantly
about.
have more and more and more. And then I worked in an Italian restaurant. Then I worked for cell phones. I've literally done everything.
Nice.
It's kind of annoying, but it gave me great life experience, and that was all in California. Then coming to Florida, I'm like, holy mackerels! Like they're both two different things, but you are gonna get work. Like there's just it's interesting the amount of work I've done, and being all these separate places, you just get to see so many different people in same types of jobs and stuff.
No, I totally agree with you. I'm similar as well. I've worked in a multitude of different things. So I worked mostly was restaurants when I was younger. So like from 18 to probably like 22-ish, I worked at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. I worked at Chicken Salad Chick. I worked at Applebee's. I worked
food industry.
Yeah, food industry for a long time. I worked at a place called Barbaritos, a Mexican restaurant.
Love that.
I worked at what's that Mediterranean restaurant? Love Zoe's Kitchen. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, Zoe's Kitchen.
Good food.
Yeah, I did that, and I also worked 2 jobs at one time where I was working at Chicken Salad Chick and All Day Vape. You ever heard of them?
No, but that's awesome.
Yeah, they're on Southside Boulevard. I used to take
vape. That'd be chill.
Yeah, I worked at a vape shop. I was the guy you'd come in and be like, "What flavor do you want?"
I love that. Yeah, because I'd be in there like ding 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 ding.
Oh, I would sit there and talk to people for hours, and I was a good salesman as well. So I would just go in there and just sell them everything. And so I did that for a long time. And then, funny enough, the way I got into my job now is my boss was one of my clients. He would come in, and I'd sold him a bunch of stuff, and he's like, "You're really good at what you do. You need a job?" I was like, "How much you paying?"
Right. What you got for me?
I was like, "What you got in the?"
What you got for me?
Well, when I found out what I do now is I drive in a truck by myself all day, so I don't have a manager's
peace in mind.
Exactly.
Nobody down your neck. It's
exactly, and I get to
do my job.
Well, I don't have to rely on anybody else as well. I know what I did, so if anything comes back that there's an issue, it's on me. There's no one. I can't be like, it was John. John fucked up. All this stuff.
No, it was you.
Yeah, so I've been doing that. Now I've been doing this job for about 4 years, so kind of doing that.
It's independent, and as long as you get your your peace and happiness with it.
Yeah, it's not a bad job at all. I don't know if it's my forever job, to be honest, unless, pay raises go up a little bit more and stuff. That's
everywhere in Florida. But hey, I love that. I hate having someone breathing down my neck because, especially with all the different jobs I've had, and then I did food industry as well, then I did retail clothing. God, hate it. Love clothes, hate retail. Mm-hmm. Then I did warehouse and stuff like that. I've done everything. So I don't want you... Yeah. We got it.
Yeah.
We are not in high school. We got it.
Well, I mean, a manager is just a title. They're doing the same thing. They're looking at their phone. They're chill, fucking off somewhere else, doing their own thing. I was a manager at Mobile, but I know what we do.
So just let me do my job. So I think that's great, being able to have your own little independence. I still do you.
Of course. I also think everybody should work in the food industry or retail.
For sure. So you can respect it.
Well, you're going to see what people are really like. And when you go into those places, you're going to be a lot more conscious,
respectful,
exactly.
and aware and conscious of, oh Lord, because I definitely remember when I was younger, before I went and worked into Windsor, or before I worked at Charlotte Russe, or before I worked at Hot Topic, or before I worked at Journeys. Good Lord, I worked everywhere. I remember how I felt before I worked there. Forget it, throw it down, don't pick it up, don't hang it up. Now I'm like, oh my God, one thing came off the hanger.
I'm sorry.
Put it back. Someone can see. Or food. And in California, working in food, it was so... The only word I can think of, unfortunately, is anal. The way that food service was there was you better have this stuff to this par. And it instilled it in me for years. So I'm appreciative of that. But when I came over here, I was like, okay, it's a little different. But you get that respect that it's just ingrained in my brain from that. So anywhere I go now, I'm like, oh my God. But, before I get up from my table, my mom's looking around my shoulder, I'm going to clean up my mess.
No, I totally agree. We're the same way. And me and Shannon actually worked at 4 different restaurants together. 3.
Oh, I love that.
3, I believe. And no, we're the same way, but I believe it just teaches you respect. And the one place that Five Guys, they are a no bullshit company. If you're disagreeing with a customer, they can fire. I could have fired people on the spot.
Sounds about right.
Oh, it was serious like that.
The burgers are good,
but they're a little expensive. A little.
I came from In-N-Out. I was like, "What is this?
See,
why is this $25 for nothing? I don't even have fries yet."
I got a hot take about In-N-Out.
I bet you do. I have a hot take on it.
It's not that good. It's not. It's
really
it's overhyped in my opinion.
But it's so good to me. But
it's
I also
not bad.
don't eat meat, so
oh, really?
What do I know about burgers? But I've seen and smelled them.
So are you vegetarian, pescatarian? What?
My mom. That's another thing. Was part of the religion. My mom raised us to all be vegan.
Really, I didn't know that was a part of it.
Neither did I.
Oh.
And maybe she, you know what I'm saying? There were a couple. Anyways, so she raised all of us to be pretty much vegan until we were no, I want cheese and milk and pizza and stuff. And then from that, it was just cheese. And so I took 6 years of my life to eat meat. It took forever. And I was always getting sick. Just eat just chicken. And even now, I don't eat chicken. So
really?
What was the point? But, seeing the stuff on the side, the fries at In-N-Out versus the fries at Five Guys, I'll pay $20 for those fries at Five Guys.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I'll totally pay $4 for the same size of fries at In-N-Out that are almost as good.
You're not wrong. You're not.
What? And my little veggie burger comes with fries, and Five Guys is nah.
No, I totally understand that. Like I said, I've had both of them. I whenever I went over to, we were talking about Lake Tahoe before, I tried it over there. I was like, I gotta try it. I've never been. And like I said, it's not bad. That's not what I'm saying. It's not bad in any way, shape, or form.
Definitely over.
It's just not whenever the way you see people hype it up on Instagram and stuff is it's just way overhyped.
Way overhyped.
And I know you're on a time crunch, right? You said 7:15. I got you. So
I was checking to say.
No, you're good. I just checked the time.
Call me?
No, you're good.
A California number, call me right now. Love that. Sometimes with little butterfly in my life,
they know you're talking. They're talking about them. But since we have a little bit of a time crunch, let's get into your modeling and your music and everything. So how did you get started on both of these careers? Obviously, you're very busy. I've seen when I met Jen, I saw you were on her page, and I started kind of checking and seeing what you were up to.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got into everything, and everything that you guys post is awesome, by the way.
We love posting. Oh my gosh, me and her are obsessed with the grams and stuff, which is great. That's another thing that made us really close. We both like that work ethic, but for me, I wanted to do broadcast journalism, and then I was interested in that all through my younger years, and I came out here and I was like, not interested. But someone, when I was doing something in regards to broadcast journalism, was like, hey, you have really cool hair, and I used to be natural all the time, so I'm like, all right. They said, you want to do a hair show? Sure. Did a hair show. Loved it. Sold. What? You're going to do my makeup, my hair, and I get to flaunt your clothes and walk around.
Sounds solid.
What? So I enjoyed it. Did another hair show. Did a runway show. Did this and that. Met some boutiques that wanted me to model for them, and it just like came flooding. And this is before I even had like social, which is crazy. Like, it's been a couple years. This is before I even had like a social media following or like much on my social media. It was just at the time in Jacksonville flooding with the hair show stuff and with the runway. And then from there, I was like, I want to try and tackle it. So I just started going and reaching out to every little company I could in Jacksonville, going to any little networking event, whatever I could find. And I really like put myself on the gram, like constantly on the gram, going on lives, reaching out to different people, like just connecting, which I think is really cool because I used to do that in California all the way over there, trying to hope to reach someone over here. Now I could just go and hit a hashtag or like go follow you or like see what talents you have. So I just kept doing that. And then all these opportunities just literally just flourish. And then I was a music video girl a few times and I loved that as well. That cool. Was like, this is a lot of fun. Did my first Floridian music video to Flo Millie, shout out. Oh, not Flo Millie. Well, love her. Shout out to Flo Millie. To Chameleon, Florida shit. And I was sold. I was like, oh my dear God, I love the camera. I want to be in front of the camera. And I can sing a little. Let me see what I can do with this. Then went to the studio. Loved the studio. Made a song. Loved the song. Did a music video. Loved the music video. And just made me like more hungry to do more and more and more. So
that's awesome.
I just dove into it. And honestly, like, I've always been a believer, especially growing up in close proximity with LA, that like your dreams are just gotta go get them, but you have to go. And I don't know, in California, I didn't necessarily think like that. I thought like I'm just another face like everyone else, but like sometimes you just have to reach. And who knows what I would have gotten if I tried more there too. But out here, I was just like, oh my God, like I have to get more, want to get more music videos, more hair shows, more photography, like. And it just ends up being beautiful, and you meet a lot of really cool people. So I think I met Jen like that too, at like a model mixer. Hey. And we were like, oh my God, love you, perfect, great. And just like instantly. So it's been fun, but
no, that's, and like we always say as well, is like, I'm big on reaching out to people because you never know who's going to say yes. Because, it's not like I have millions of followers in any way, shape or form. We're building up our followership. And
we're all building up.
Oh yeah.
Forever.
Oh yeah. Just building it. And like I said, it's not like I even have thousands, it's more of just building up slowly, but at least I know the people who are following me want to follow and actually will check it out, and all that stuff.
Like-minded people. Yeah. That's what I'm always looking for. And yeah. It'll get there for everyone if you want it. Like, it's crazy.
What would you say is your most proud, whether it's photo shoot, music, what's one of your most proud moments that you've gotten to do in those careers?
Both. I mean, like, I've done a lot of photo shoots with groups, and I think a few of the last ones that I did, a lot of the girls were like coming to me with real good questions and like wanted help, which is crazy for me. Like, what, you want my help? But that's awesome. Like, you want my advice, and it's going to be so genuine and heartfelt for me because I'm like, I was up at 4 a.m. Googling outfits, looking at what I'm going to wear, how a model should walk. Like, like I studied it like homework, and I loved it. So to get any recognition from that, like outside of my own likes of my own photography or my own modeling or pictures or posing, all that stuff, like I taught myself. So for someone else to ask me for like any advice on that, like makes me happy to share that, which is ultimately also why I started doing music, because I used to think I was just another voice. So I used to think I was just another girl, so that's other girls thinking too. They thought they're like, go model, go act, go sing, because if you always think you're just going to be another face, you'll never reach what you wanted to do or accomplish something. So with modeling, it was wonderful to get that recognition. And with music, just people singing my songs is crazy.
That is
like,
crazy.
Really, really cool, because ultimately it's for everybody, So
that's awesome. And like I said, I love talking to people who do things I can't personally. I can't sing for shit. And the whole modeling thing, never tried personally, so I don't know. But no, it's amazing the different skill sets that people have. Yes. And obviously I'm not a woman, but I can only imagine what going through that process is like, because I feel like girls are comparing each other so much.
So heavy, yeah.
And the cool thing is, at least about today, is like, different body types are cool now. It's not just, just like sticks walking across
Right,
now.
it's
Like
every different kind of body.
yeah, tattoos are
Yeah.
cool now. That was something we talked about with Jen. You know, hey, I got tattoos.
I love tattoos. They're covered, but we love them. We
Oh
love
no,
tattoos.
I do too. I would say I'm a big fan of
Try the new
tattoos. I was like, I'm about to get some more soon. I want to sleeve out this arm.
Oh my gosh, yay, we love sleeves.
I was waiting on it for a while just to kind of figure out what my career was. I didn't want them to, but
Right.
nowadays no one really cares anymore.
No one really cares.
Our generation are going to be the new bosses here
They
soon.
are
That's right.
blasted everywhere on their face. Okay, not that much.
I was saying,
But
maybe. I don't know about that.
I don't know, maybe.
No, but like I said, it's awesome that you work in these industries because I feel like Jacksonville is getting so much bigger with that kind of stuff, and
It
I
is.
love the art that's coming here.
A
You
lot.
know, whether you're like you said, an artist, musician, model, you know, what else? Podcasting even now is getting
Yes,
big in
it's getting
Jacksonville,
big.
and I love to see it.
Yeah.
And you've been on multiple other podcasts as well.
Yes.
How's that been? Was it weird for you originally being in front of the obviously I guess not in front of the camera, but you know, actually talking about your life?
You know, my job, which will remain private.
I understand. Nothing wrong with it.
My job, I get told literally all day long to have a podcast. So since I've been there for like a good year to two, and that's about the same time frame, people have been like, "Oh my goodness, do a podcast." I'm like, let's just get on one.
Mm-hmm.
And every podcast I've had the best time. Like, I don't even know how. Like, even this was just so much fun. You know, you get to explore things you would never think about or do or talk about. So I love it, and like, bring it on. Where's more? You know,
Of course.
I'll see you next week.
What
See you tomorrow.
Oh no, like I said, like anytime I have someone on, it's usually there's always an open invite.
Right.
You know, because I always talk to people who I want to talk to. No
Love that.
one just messages me and I feel forced or anything. I don't do that because I feel like it makes the episode weird if I'm not interested in what you're doing.
True.
You know, I want it to be more authentic. Yeah.
Right. I love that.
What podcast have you been on? I saw It Is What It Is one of them. I've been seeing them around Jackson a little bit.
I wonder if this one's still active. It's funny. I was just looking at pictures the other day, and I don't know the name of the podcast. I can totally find it for you, but I know that it was really cool because it had it was decorated with LA pictures everywhere. Like,
Oh, that's cool.
Like Ice Cube was around, you know, Dr. Dre. Like, it was just all kinds of Los Angeles artists, and it was crazy. I didn't mention anything about me being from California. It was two guys. Golly. I'll send you the podcast.
No, you're
But
good,
it was
yeah.
these two guys, and they're from Jacksonville, and their whole room was blue with all these pictures around. And it was
Blue.
awesome,
That's really
and
cool.
it looked great on my hair. So that one, and another one when I was in Atlanta, Georgia, visiting one of my girlfriends. I was doing this artist event, and there was a podcast there. I think that was my second interview. I also don't fully remember the name of that.
You're good. You're good.
Which sucks because I never got that content. I want to see it, but but it
I
was
promise.
a really good.
I'll send everything you want. I got you.
But it's okay. But it was a really good podcast because they were just pulling in different artists that went on this big stage in front of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there by myself, and I was very nervous, and it broke the barrier for like the day that I was having for me to just be able to go sit down and talk. And I was like, you know what? Let's keep podcasting.
Oh yeah, like podcasting, and for me, you know, I've always been an open book and like talking to people. For me, it was just trying to figure out a way to be of service or be in my community in one way or another. And I thought, you know, what's something that's free? I'm not ever going to charge anybody to be on here. I refuse to do that personally. You know,
That's very sweet. That shows, you know, a lot, camaraderie. That's a lot. Crazy.
Time is money. You
Time
know,
is money,
I know everybody who's on here. You know, we have obviously have like business owners, CEOs. You know, a mix of people here. So I'm not trying to make money off of them. Obviously, that's where sponsorships come in and other stuff comes in. Patreon,
Which are possible, and hey guys, we're still around here. But
yeah.
you know, like, I love that. That's what I do too for people. Like, if they want to, I charge for my certain services, and like
course.
for people out here that I've worked with before or whatever, I'm like, well, let's just do a barter or a trade or like some type of agreement, because we're all trying to do, you know, like-minded things. We're
Oh
trying
yeah,
to-
the main thing I ask for is collaborate with my posts.
That's right.
And leave me a review.
That's right.
Those are the two. If there's anything that anybody who's been a guest on the podcast, you want to make me happy, leave me a review.
Hit the collab.
And hit, like, whenever I post a video that we did together,
Collab with me.
collaborate with it. You'd be surprised how there's people who like they'll collaborate it and then take the collaboration off. I'm like, what are we doing?
What's the point? Why did you come?
Like, what is this? You know, but it is
No,
what
I
it
love
is.
the collab, and just at least for me, I just want to like. You you gotta comment. Just like give me a little like.
Oh yeah, just show it to a friend. Tell them about it, and that's all it is. But it's a fun thing to do, and I love like we've sat down with over 100 people now, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we've been doing this for over 2 years now, which is crazy.
Yeah, didn't you just have your anniversary not too long
We
ago?
did. So we had it was episode what was it 104 was our 2-year anniversary,
Love
and
that.
it was super cool. We got to sit down with an ex NFL player, which was pretty badass.
Super badass.
Yeah,
Get out.
Shout out to Neil and Ashley Sterling.
Love that.
They're opening up a gym. It's called ISI Elite Training.
Love that.
In Town Center, and they're basically having either old athletes or other personal trainers, and they lead you through a class, and it's on like turf fields, and it's for
I
people.
love that.
Yeah,
that stuff's big out here. I used to be big into the can't even talk about
exercise.
that. The exercise at Gym World. Yeah, like I was heavy into that the prior 3 years of my life, and I met like so many bodybuilders. I had friends from Cali like, no way, that's what's his face, and I'm like,
badass.
he's just in the gym, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what's that one guy? Something Jackson. He's won the Olympia, whatever, like 5 times.
Oh, you lost me on that one. I have no idea.
I didn't even know either. I'm just in the gym lifting, trying to be cool and get buff and whatnot, right? And he's just in here. People start taking pictures, and I was like, well, can I take a picture? Boom.
Oh, yeah.
And he was Mr. Olympia.
That's badass.
Something, right? And his whole family was in there. I turned around and his wife's like, hi. I'm like, oh my God, you're stunning. Like, there's my word. But everyone was great.
Stunning.
Yeah. Stunning. It's my next tattoo.
No, you're good. So I know we're running a little bit low on time here, so I got a couple more questions for you. So say for someone, maybe a young girl, young man who is looking about getting into modeling or, even in the music business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to them?
Oh gosh, yeah. The road is long and heavy for anything you do. So, just be genuine, pursue it, and don't give up. Because, if you have ambition, drive, and a goal, like you can accomplish that goal. And over that, if you really want to, you just have to put the work and just like anything else. But definitely to not give up, because if it's something that you're passionate about it for a reason. So definitely don't give up.
That's beautiful. I like that. And I agree with it as well. I've said this a couple of times on the pod. I feel like it's not deranged. You kind of have to be, what's the word? You have to believe in yourself more than anything before anybody else will believe in you. Your
biggest fan before you get.
Yeah, because a lot of time, your friends and family might support you to your face a little bit, but it's usually the people who you don't even know are the supporting you the most.
Exactly.
And that's something I had to learn personally. I was like, okay, it's not just going to be your buddies that are going to support you. You're going to have to put out a good product, keep working on it and everything. And, as you put more time into it, people are going to care. That's the way I've looked at it. And, we've refined this. We went from sitting at our couch with 2 microphones and the soundboard to where we are now, which is crazy to think about,
It's so cool. I know. I can only imagine the progression, because just as a model and an artist, I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness. But the growth is part of the process, and it's super fun.
Yeah, I feel like that's the fun part, that it might suck in the moment, but as you get through it, you get over some of those hurdles that you thought you would never get past. You look back on it, and those are the times you remember as being fun.
Yes.
They sucked in the moment, but you remember like that's the journey. And I feel like a lot of people are thinking so far ahead that they don't take a moment to take a breath and be like,
and appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm creating. I thought something, and I'm creating it, and I'm doing it.
And you're doing it,
and that's the big thing.
That's the best part of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah. So
hell yeah, brother.
Yes, hell yeah, brother. But before I let you go, I asked everybody, and whenever it's their first time on the podcast, I ask them the same question, and it is, do you feel successful? And if you don't or you do, in what ways?
I feel successful for sure. I feel blessed and successful in what I wanted my successes to be. Can it be more? 100%. Will it be more? 100%. Everything takes time. But what I wanted to accomplish, I didn't realize I already did. And that's like really fulfilling. So I've had to take moments to realize and step back and be appreciative, and I think we all should. So I definitely think I'm successful because I'm happy. Like, I think that's the most important thing, is I'm happy and my work shows for it. So it's not like, whatever my dream is, I show that I want to work hard to better it, to strengthen it, to whatever it is that I need to do in my life to make myself happy. If I'm making myself happy already doing it, just can't imagine what's going to be coming up next. So I think I'm successfully happy right now.
Hey, that's the biggest thing right there. It took me a very, very long time to admit that I was actually happy. For a long time, I never thought it was possible. And then I took a second, and also, me and Jen got married, and, we're talking about starting a family and all this other stuff. And, I'm content, but I'm always pushing for more.
Absolutely.
But you do have to, I tell Shannon all the time, for me, like, I'm freaked out about how fast time goes by. It freaks me out a lot, and since I don't have a belief system with like the religious side of things, that kind of freaks me out a little bit as well. Right. I was like, what's next?
What's next? Is the world flat?
Yeah. Am I going to fall off the edge?
Fall off the edge.
I was on a cruise. I didn't fall off the edge, guys. So just everybody knows.
You're probably just looking, Shannon. It's getting close.
It's here. But no, it's just taking the time to, smell the flowers, enjoy that moment, to,
feel the rain.
Yeah.
Live a little.
Yeah. Pet your cat, pet your animal.
Literally,
spend time
pet your cat. I pet my ferret.
Oh, I love ferrets. Little wiggle
so
monsters.
Gross and cute at the same time. I'll pet your cat though, but yeah, pet your cat. Pet
of
your
course.
ferret. Pet your dog.
But no, that's absolutely amazing. And like I said, thank you again for sitting down with me today. It's been awesome to get to know you. And like I said, there is always an open door policy. So let us know if you ever have like an event going on, or you say you're going to do a photo shoot or anything you want to promote.
I do. I have so many. Okay,
go right ahead.
Calm down. I have some things coming up that I'm very excited about. So I will definitely be expecting and hoping you guys to be there with all of the stuff just set up.
I'd be more than happy to do. We're always trying to make content and everything.
I love that. Yeah. And you know what? It's about to be summer too. There's a lot of other, like, I'm about to be working in a few projects. There's a few projects I'm helping with. And there's a few projects I've had my eyes on because I'm also in like a few promoting groups for the city. So they're like trying to, build up different parts of the city. So, and especially the nightlife. So absolutely. I'll be, sharing everything, if not sending it to you. And I think definitely come to everything you can, because it's just like people are creating out here. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. We doing something. And then like, 12 people are doing stuff. That's great.
Oh yeah, I'm always down to get out and network. We were talking about the event that's going on tomorrow. Shout out to Safe House Jax. I know this is coming out next week, but still shout out to Safe House, and actually a future guest on the podcast.
Right, because we're gonna be there.
That's right. So, but before I let you go and everything, please let everybody know where they can find all your, your music, your modeling, all your social medias. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Please follow me. Go check me out. If you go to my Instagram, which is THAI_MONRO, you can go to my link in the bio, and it has my music. It has projects I've worked on, and that's usually where I put anything that's updating. So go follow me there. If you have Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, whatever you have, you can pretty much find me under Thai Monro, and that is in my Instagram profile. And TikTok as well.
Hey,
and YouTube too now, and now 2 times on YouTube for the squad.
There we go. So guys, make sure you go give her a follow on all the social medias. Let her know that you guys are from the Who Are You. Love to see when we can cross-pollinate with other, artists, creators, and all that stuff. So make sure you go check them out. But before we get out of here, as always, please give us a follow on the social media. We're trying to grow this podcast. We officially hit 300 followers, which I know is nothing crazy
awesome.
Big. But
what do you mean? That's 300 people.
We're there. And, the YouTube is starting to grow now as well, so we're happy, awesome. And I'm always thankful for all you guys. So make sure you give us a follow. It's going to be Who Are You Pod for everything, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, all the normal spots, Facebook as well. I know some people don't check out Facebook, but I am heavy on Facebook.
Facebook is hilarious. Do it.
I love Facebook. As well as if you guys know anybody who has a story that needs to be told, whether it's an artist, restaurateur, entrepreneur, or really a mix of anything, please hit me up either on the social media, or you can shoot me an email to me, whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. But as I say every single week, y'all, thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure you go check her out as well, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Yay!